Hello, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines, and today I'm going to make a video about the upcoming full moon in Capricorn. It's our second full moon in Capricorn in a row. This one is going to be on July 21st, 2024 at 29 degrees of Capricorn. We had our last full moon was also a full moon in Capricorn, but at 1 degree of Capricorn, and that was on June 21st. So I made an entire video about this whole phenomenon of the two Capricorn full moons, and then the new moon we just had at 14 degrees of Cancer. So basically sandwiched by the two full moons. Yeah. So I made an entire video about that whole set of things, and I definitely recommend you go back and watch that video if you feel called. There are so many layers to this upcoming full moon, though, that I would love to drop in with you, and I'm going to try not to have this video be too long. But yeah, there's so much, and actually it relates to even some of the astrology that was going on a year ago. So I'm going to try to go through various layers here, and hopefully it will be helpful, because I think, like I was discussing with Kaylin Castell in a video yesterday, the astrology right now could seem scary, and I would really love to bring some positivity to it. Not to be in denial about it, but just bring a perspective that hopefully will feel helpful. And like there's a way to focus, there's a way to meet this in a way that is productive and positive, because that's absolutely how I feel. So, okay. So I would say, to sum up what I'm about to dive into in terms of details of the layers, the biggest, most massive directive of the spirit world to me right now, as I've said in lots of videos and in the Wholeness Way series that now is available here on my YouTube channel, which you're all invited to enjoy. The number one thing that the spirit world is really asking me to do, and is wanting me to hold space for us all to be doing, is to be remembering, literally remembering the wholeness that we are. And so essentially, we've been in this time of forgetting, and I would say, again, the spirit world is emphasizing that the biggest component of the time of forgetting has been this illusion of separation. And so when we are in the illusion of separation, from that illusion of separation comes violence, and comes domination, and comes all these things going on in our world that are not great. They're actually really not great. And so we want solutions. We want to help our world. We're here to help our world. If you're watching this video, give it basically 100% chance, 99.99999% chance that you're really motivated to do something in some way to be a positive influence in our world. And that's all true. And that's what the world needs. I mean, that is why we're here. So how do we do that? Well, when we are operating from that illusion of separation, like I've said in a lot of other videos, it's kind of like a car trying to run with the tires out of alignment, something like that. And if our tires are out of alignment, and we're kind of trying to push through to get these solutions, it's going to be really difficult, and probably, it actually could even feel really harmful in a sense. So the number one priority right now for a lot of us, I think, what the spirit world is saying is, the number one thing we need you to be doing is come back into full alignment, come back into the part of the alignment key. A key in the alignment is the reality that we are wholeness. We are source itself. We are not broken. We've had trauma. Absolutely. That is that is just the truth in this experience of Earth, in this lifetime, and many other lifetimes. I mean, trauma is everywhere. So I'm not denying that. It's just that on the ultimate level, we are wholeness. Life is wholeness. Source is wholeness itself. And it's from that place of wholeness, when we fully embody that, that's when the solutions that our world needs arise. And that's when then we know from that place what is mine to do. Like we're that car and we're in full alignment. We've got all the tires aligned and strong and good. and then we have clear direction, and we can just have an easy flow toward what it is that we're meant to be doing on that ultimate soul level, whatever that happens to be, which can be very simple, could be anything. So that's the number one priority of the spirit world right now. And in the astrology, I'm going to show you, it's so present. It's so here. Okay, so let me first show you the chart of the upcoming full moon, and then I'm going to back up a little bit to what was going on in the astrology a year ago, like exactly a year ago, because it's very relevant and maybe it will help to contextualize what's going on now. And I haven't really heard many other people talk about it. Not that I listen to every single astrology out there, but yeah, I just feel like it's really, really important to put this into the mix. So, okay, here is the full moon that will be exact on July 21st, 2024, 3:16 a.m. Pacific time. And the moon will be at 29 degrees, 8 minutes of Capricorn. The sun will be at 29 degrees, 8 minutes of Cancer. And as Kaylin and I talked about in the video we made yesterday, this moon is going to be right there with Pluto, like right there. And so I'll point out, just there's so much in this chart, but I'll point out a few things that are key, and then I'll drop into some of the layers of what I feel in that and see in that. Okay, so this full moon is going to be trining Uranus, which is at 26 degrees of Uranus, right there with Algol. So again, if you haven't heard the video I just did with Kaylin about the Mars-Uranus conjunction with Algol, Uranus is going to be with Algol and going back and forth over Algol for probably like another year-ish, long, definitely months and months and months. So I think I definitely just encourage you to listen to that video, because a lot of people out there are talking about the Uranus-Algol conjunction, and specifically the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction, and there's a lot of hype and fear about it. And yeah, you'll listen to what Kaylin and I said, and it's just not helpful to me to really emphasize that way of thinking. So so this moon will be trining Uranus with Algol, and on a basic level, I feel that trine, it's one of the many components here in this chart that is helping us to deeply align with the intelligence of the divine that is us, that is embodied as us, that is us as a body and a being of the earth, Taurus. And of course, the moon is in Capricorn, which is also an earth sign. And then, I mean, again, so many things, but this moon also is squaring Chiron and Erisina. So super powerful healing energy involved here. Really strong energy about coming into our own truth, being aligned again with our own way, even if it's, goes against even if it seems like it's throwing that golden apple. It's really about being aligned with truth and justice, and a warrior or warrior-ess for healing and for justice and what's right. and so many other things. Mars in this chart is now conjunct the Pleiades with Sedna and is trining the full moon and Pluto. So yeah, basically, so the moon with Pluto is trining Uranus, Mars, and Sedna with the Pleiades. So that's beautiful in and of itself. If you feel called, go and listen to the channeled video I did on the Pleiades. And maybe, because that energy will be highlighted, will be really alive at the time of this full moon also. And so that might call to you. In addition, also at the time of this full moon, the sun is going to be at 29 degrees of Cancer. So it's going to be trining, exactly trining Neptune. So again, another type of energy, this energy, moon trine Neptune in Cancer and Pisces, really, really powerful, beautiful. I want to say, like, I want to give like a tone to it. Like it's very, it's almost, it's like a song. It's like resonant, like, I don't even know what sound to make for it, but there's some vibration that wants to move through my body when I look at that. So it's something along those lines. And it's just, again, it's connecting us to ourselves as the divine, et cetera, et cetera. So now that I'm bringing in Neptune, this is bringing in a really key component of this whole chart. And in a minute, I am going to go back to a year ago, but I'm on a train of thought, so I'll finish the train of thought and then I'll go back to that. Okay, so another key thing that has recently happened is that both Neptune and Saturn just went retrograde, and they both went retrograde in Pisces. So Neptune went retrograde on July 2nd at 29 degrees, I think 55 minutes of Pisces. So the very, 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 very tail end of the entire zodiac, because the zodiac ends with Pisces and starts with Aries. And so Neptune got all the way, so close to entering Aries, but it didn't. And then it went retrograde, and now it's going retrograde, still at 29 degrees of Pisces. And Saturn just went retrograde, also in Pisces, conjunct Nessus. Nessus is one of the centaurs. And as a side note, for any of you who don't know, Melanie Reinhardt is going to be doing a workshop next Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. That's going to be live and recorded, and it's free for everyone involved in my Astrology 101 course, but it's also open to the public. And so you're very welcome to join that if you like. She's going to be talking about all four of the main centaurs. So Chiron, Chariklo, Nessus, and Pholus. So Nessus is really highlighted right now because of Saturn going retrograde with Nessus. Pholus is also very highlighted right now because the nodes of the moon are squaring Pholus right now. And anyway, so all of the centaurs are related to healing. All of them are related in various ways to ancestral healing. And I've talked in previous videos about this. Actually, in the video where I talk about the 2 full moons in Capricorn, I discuss this group of beings in Capricorn here, the Ixion, Pholus, Quawar, and Ceres. And actually, I talk about this in the video where I discussed Pluto and Ceres going retrograde. So, yeah, so go to those videos if you want to hear more about that. But this theme of ancestral healing is really, really highlighted right now. And to have Saturn going retrograde conjunct Nessus, who is also going retrograde in Pisces at the same time that Neptune is going retrograde in Pisces. This really brings up for me an extra emphasis on forgiveness. And so this group in Capricorn being squared by the nodes of the moon is absolutely highlighting such major potential for us to be releasing karmic patterning. And I'll say more about that in a second, but that energetic to me could feel relatively possibly difficult. Like at least that's my sense of it, is that potentially we could be feeling in the coming weeks various layers of karmic patterning that really just do not serve anymore. We are here to embody wholeness, et cetera, et cetera. And in doing so, it's really key to allow our bodies, our physical bodies and our energy bodies, and the various layers of who we are to process it, to have time, to have space, to grieve, series here involved, to cry, to let our energy bodies and our emotional bodies and our physical bodies have their own timing and their own process with all of it. Because we have been living, of course, and we still are living physical earth body experiences, and we're moving into embodying, re-embodying the wholeness that we are, et cetera. But in doing that, we don't want to just bypass the processing that needs to happen on the healing of our energy body and our physical body and our emotional bodies and all of that. So that's all true. But then when we bring in this group in Pisces, it's super key because Saturn rules Capricorn. And so Saturn rules this group of beings being squared by the nodes in Capricorn, and Saturn rules the full moon in Capricorn. And so when we think about, okay, well, what's another layer to this experience of releasing like this? Well, it's really important to go and look at what's going on with Saturn, because again, Saturn rules all of that. Well, Saturn just went retrograde in Pisces, conjunct Neptune, conjunct Nessus in Pisces, and also Neptune just went retrograde in Pisces. So for me, there's two really important components with that. Number one, that there's this healing balm of forgiveness. Like, I mean radical forgiveness, where there's both a need to acknowledge the realities of the many difficult, traumatic things, of course, that likely have gone on and that are still going on in the world, and that have gone on with patriarchy. Ixion, for me, is absolutely a representation of patriarchy gone very, very wrong, and humans making choices that utterly suck, that just are just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't know how to justify the choices of Ixion personally. So we see that in the world. We maybe even see that in ourselves in some way. And it's just, it's hard to see it any way other than that sucks, because it just does. And so we don't want to, I think it's extremely important, as having worked as a therapist in trauma treatment for many years, it's really, really important. Our bodies, our psyches need that to be acknowledged. Absolutely. Not bypassed. And at the same time, this Piscean energy, especially with Saturn there, which rules the Capricorn, at the same time that we're acknowledging it and fully being present with the realities of it, there's a healing balm available of Pisces, which is the divine, which is source, which is, okay, we can, when your body knows that you're ready, you can get to the point where you can say, I forgive it. I forgive it all. Take it. Take it. Like the phrase, let go, let God. You can say to source, okay, you got it. Just take it. Take it from me. I'm ready to let go. But you'll know when you're ready. And when you're not, you're not. And it's fine. You don't need to rush it. And in fact, it's probably a good idea not to rush it. But that energy is there. It's really, really strong and really powerful. And the second component of this group in Pisces is that it absolutely is also an energetic bringing us into that wholeness and that totality of who we are. So that, again, these beings are going retrograde in Pisces, and and Jupiter is going to be squaring them coming up very soon. So accentuating that, really magnifying that also. And a really fascinating, amazing thing about the astrology of the upcoming year is that as Neptune and Saturn have gone now retrograde in Pisces, guess what they're both going to be doing next year? They're both going to be entering Aries in 2025. So they're both going to enter Aries and then go back into Pisces. They're both going to be doing a dance basically in 2025 between Pisces and Aries. So they're not going to be done with Aries quite yet, but they are going to enter Aries. And so next year there's going to be this massive, massive, super powerful energy of the really related to the dance between Pisces and Aries. So again, Pisces is the everything and the nothing, and it's the quote unquote end of the zodiac. Aries is the beginning. It's the spark of life. It's the seed. It's the, the match gets lit. But Aries is not really where it begins. Pisces is where Aries comes out of. So as we're going retrograde with these beings in Pisces, to me it feels like diving. It's like Neptune got so close to Aries, and now these beings are diving back into the ocean of the totality, the wholeness. Like, I think that's part of why I'm getting this directive so powerfully right now when they're saying, this is the one thing. You got to do this one thing. We need you to do this one thing. I think it's partly these beings going retrograde now in Pisces, because this directive started getting really loud right around the time they both went retrograde. They each went retrograde, and I didn't even click with that until today, that's about the timing of when that started happening, which is fascinating. So yeah, I think part of what's going on is that the spirit world is, and life, our own souls are saying, my soul is saying, hey, we have got to remember, we've got to wake up to this reality that we are wholeness. It is literally a living nightmare to experience the illusion of separation. It is not true. Like a galaxy, you could never look at a galaxy and think, oh yeah, that galaxy is, not whole. That's just, that we would never, that doesn't make sense. Right? It's just not true. So the same goes for us. And we spend so much time and so much energy doubting ourselves and doubting our wholeness, doubting our value, all of that. And it's just not true. And we need support. We need help coming back into the remembering of ourselves as wholeness, which is what the Wholeness Way series is all about. Again, it's totally free. Please take advantage of it. Please use it if it calls to you in whatever way it calls to you. It is absolutely there for you. So yeah, okay, so I'm going to back up now a little bit. There are probably more components to this I'm going to speak to in a second, but anyway, I'm going to back up now to a year ago. I'm going to show you what was going on a year ago. And lots of you probably perhaps remember this, but okay. So here is July of 2023. So what was going on a year ago is that the nodes of the moon moved, they were in Taurus and Scorpio, and they moved into Aries and Libra, which is what they're in now, because the nodes stay in a particular sign for about 18 months. So it was almost exactly a year ago that the nodes switched signs into what they're in right now, which is Aries and Libra. And they're going to be in Aries and Libra until January of 2025. So we've got about another 6 months or so with them being in the signs they're in right now, Aries and Libra. But a year ago, they had switched from Libra and Aries. From Scorpio and Taurus into Libra and Aries. Okay. And what was also super significant about that time, as you can see here, take a look what was going on. Pluto was at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which is where it is about to enter in September 1st, 2nd, 2024, where we are right now. Pluto will enter Capricorn for the last time. It will go to 29 degrees of Capricorn for the last time, until 230, 40 years from now, it'll re-enter Capricorn. But in our lifetimes, this will be the very, very, very last time Pluto will be in Capricorn in September and October and November of 2024. It will fully enter Aquarius on, I think it's November 19th, 2024. So, but a year ago, Pluto had just gone retrograde, and Pluto was retrograde and was at 29 degrees of Capricorn. But what was extra significant about this was that the nodes of the moon had just entered Aries and Libra, which meant they were at 29 of Libra and Aries. And so therefore, Pluto was exactly squaring the nodes at this powerful place of 29 degrees Capricorn, which is where it's about to go back to. Right now, Pluto is retrograde at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And again, it will re-enter Capricorn on September 1st, 2nd. But what I want to say about this is that, so the energetic of a year ago, when Pluto was squaring the nodes at this 29 placement, also with actually the sun opposite Pluto, and this was, just such a highlighted time. What was going on then was this energetic of Pluto. Whenever there's a really strong Pluto transit happening, often the energetic of Pluto, I think of it like the caterpillar who goes into the chrysalis, becomes the goop, and then eventually is going to become the butterfly. So that's the moment we were in a year ago. And when I was channeling a year ago, what I was told over and over and over again was that it was imperative at that point that we allow ourselves to go fully into the chrysalis and fully become the goop. In other words, dissolve into the unknown and just let ourselves release all these karmic stories, all the patterning of this Capricorn energetic, like what society has told us, the structures of our society, et cetera, et cetera. And it was really key for us to just let those cells of the caterpillar dissolve. And then later in the year of 2020, at the end of 2023, or in the fall of 2023, in the coming months, then as Pluto then went direct, then there was this sense of, okay, now the imaginal cells of inside the chrysalis were starting to form to become the butterfly. So fast forward a year to where we are right now, and we are, again, here is going to fast forward a year. Here again, we're back. This is back to the chart of the full moon coming on July 21st, 2024. And you can see here's Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, about to go retro. I mean, sorry, it already is going retrograde, about to re-enter Capricorn September 1st to September 2nd, back to that same place where Pluto was when it was squaring the nodes exactly. Well, guess who is at 29 degrees of Capricorn right at the full moon? The moon. So this is highlighting that same dynamic of that caterpillar going into the chrysalis, becoming the goop that we were experiencing, that we were all collectively in a year ago. But the difference is it's a year later. So there's still this powerful need, especially with this group now this is what's being squared by the nodes, is this group in Capricorn, the Ixion, Pholus, Quaoar, Ceres group. Pluto is no longer being squared by the nodes, but this group is, and this group is in Capricorn. And it's all going retrograde. It's all going to go direct about the same time and all together, which is interesting, fascinating. And so what I feel in that, and I would love to hear your thoughts, because there's no one right answer to this, but what I feel in that is like, I've been saying this a lot in my astrology course. It's like life, virtually no life happens in a linear way. It's almost always a spiral, right? Like the Fibonacci sequence. And if you think about shells, or you think about the shape of a galaxy, like galaxies aren't lasers. They don't just they don't go from point A to point B. They're doing this. And so the same is true, of course, about our cosmos, because our galaxy is the cosmos and our solar system is part of the galaxy. But life, in almost all kinds of life, are designed to do evolution like this, not like this, not as a line. So we're coming back around to a similar place, but it's not identical. And it's not meant to be a never-ending circle. That is also not how life works. Very rare you're going to find something that moves in a circle and just repeats itself. Like it would, that's yeah, that's not how we work. So we're like a galaxy. We're like our solar system even, we're designed to be going around back, to be cycling in a sense, but to be evolving as we're cycling, like a spiral does. And so now we're back around to another layer of where we were a year ago. And what I feel in that is that we have another layer of things to be releasing on that karmic story level. And this time, I want to say it's not necessarily as intense. I don't know. It's hard to compare. But anyway, I'll just say this, at this moment, what feels particularly alive, instead of the spirit world saying to me, you absolutely have to be the caterpillars who become the goop. That's not the energetic I'm feeling here. That's when Pluto was being squared by the nodes. That was a year ago. And now at this moment in the spiral we're in, the emphasis is about coming into our wholeness. So again, I would love your thoughts, because I feel like the wisdom of this is not meant to just come through me. It's like, I'm like, there are some other puzzle pieces here that probably you and you and you and you have, that, help us all put it all together. But I'll just say the parts coming through me, or the things that resonate for me, and then you speak up and tell us all more. But the two key components I'm feeling here, or two of the key components, are this reminder that we are wholeness, since we have these beings going retrograde in Pisces, and the spirit world saying to me, you have to remember the wholeness that you are. It's kind of like if the butterfly has now become the butterfly, and it forgot that it's whole and perfect, or something like that, right? It's like, if we're ready almost to fly as that butterfly, that new butterfly that we are, we really need to remember that we are literal masterpieces. We are literal miracles of the divine. I mean, it's just true. Like a galaxy is a miracle of creation. It just is, right? And imagine a butterfly. And imagine if the butterfly doubted that it was beautiful and perfect. I would feel really sad. I mean, that's ludicrous, of course, I get it. But seriously, what if the butterfly was sitting there going, I'm not pretty. I don't know. I don't know. Just sorry, it was my computer. I would, just sitting. Obviously, I don't think I don't know, but I highly doubt a butterfly doubts itself. But just imagine if it did. We would be sad, I think. So we're the same thing. We're the butterflies too. And we're, so we're now in the evolution of this energetic. It's again, it really is like, okay, now we have had time to become the butterfly, and a key component in being ready to fully click as who the butterfly we are as the butterfly and then take off is this remembering of ourselves as wholeness. And the other key coming in here with Saturn ruling Capricorn in Pisces is the radical forgiveness part. So not bypassing, I mean, fully acknowledging anything that needs to be acknowledged in this, I want to say the crappiness of patriarchy, et cetera, violence, the wars still going on. That, believe me, I have incredibly strong feelings about things happening in the world and things happening politically in the United States where I live, et cetera. I have very, very strong feelings, which I won't talk about here, but I absolutely fully feel it, fully acknowledge it. So I'm not advocating bypassing that. And at the same time, there is this opportunity, this support that we do have, that when we feel ready, in the moments where it feels right, we absolutely can release, can fully, can release, give it all back to God in a sense, and forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive. Again, only when it feels right, when it feels like exactly the right medicine. And I want to say one more thing about that. I'm coming out of screen sharing. So yeah, I'll just say, so I'm not going to talk directly about politics because I'm just not going to do that. But I will say what I do get shown, and this does feel important to say, is what I do get shown is that I think we all clearly see many, atrocious things going on in the world that probably all of us are very upset about in various ways. We might have slightly differing opinions about certain things, but I think we all would just say that, war and violence are horrible, and there's certain things we would agree on, that just certain things are very, very upsetting. Okay. And I wouldn't guess that that's going to change anytime soon. And again, I'm not going to go over there really, but if I had to guess, I would guess that certain things might get even more upsetting or distressing in certain ways. And this is so crucial and so key to the whole point of this video and the whole point of the Wholeness Way series and what the spirit world is saying to me. And I'll speak for myself, but I think it's true for a lot of us. When I see something going on in the world, in my life, whatever, but especially going on in the world, I'm thinking of certain examples that are going on that are very upsetting to me. It is really easy on a body level, on an energy body level, even on a physiological level, certainly on an emotional level, to feel a sense of separation of some kind, right? Like like that there's something wrong or broken or whatever. It's easy for me in my body to feel a kind of like my energy body does this in a sense. That's my instinct, is to feel a separateness inside myself. Um, on again, on an energy body level. I'm not even talking like cognitively. I'm not saying that I'm thinking like that person is different from me. That might happen as well, but I'm just talking fully on a non-cognitive embodiment level. And so what the spirit world is saying to me is that as we are in times that are distressing, and that probably will continue to be distressing and maybe even more distressing in certain ways, I don't know. They're just, I mean, they're almost crying. They're begging me, begging us, please, 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 of all times ever, we could ask you to do one thing. Please come fully, completely into this wholeness way that is truth. It is true because it's actually in the remembering of ourselves as wholeness. That's the one and only way we can hold space that is the maximum potential of healing on the planet. So again, it's very easy when we see these things going on to feel obligated, and even in a way to feel separation in our energy body. And I'm not saying to not judge things. Actually, I absolutely judge things. And I think it's actually important. There's the whole different topic, but one of the most dangerous things that has gone on this planet has been the bystander effect. And that's really again a whole topic, but that's a manifestation of being passive and not judging things, or maybe judging it internally, but not being present with the reality that somebody needs to say no. So I'm not saying we shouldn't judge. What I'm saying is that we have a choice how to embody ourselves on an energy body level, to either be completely the wholeness that we are, which is true no matter what, or to go back into the illusion of separation. And again, it's the analogy of like the car who's trying to run on, misaligned tires or something. If we feel guilty, or we feel obligated to go into that energy body experience of the illusion of separation, it's kind of like saying to our car, oh, you know what? The world is having a bad day, so I'm going to have my tires out of alignment to mirror the difficulty of the world. Well, guess what? Then that car is going to have a heck of a hard time getting us to the place we need to go to be of service to the world, right? So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? Our energy body needs to be so precisely and fully in alignment now more than ever, because in order to be the being of light, the being of earth, the being of wholeness and healing that we are really here to be, we have to embody it. We have to be it. And then, the car can drive smoothly to its destination, or we can just sit here and be that healing presence that we are. I mean, I'll just give you a really, really, really like blatant example. Like, imagine if I got on this video and I was like, I was crying and I don't know, distressed and screaming and wailing about XYZ thing that I am, again, many things I am truly upset about in the world, but what if that's all I did and my energy body was, out of whack? That's what you would experience of me, as opposed to me coming fully into my rounded wholeness and the totality of me as the one and you as the one. And then I can be a presence that you can co-regulate with. That's really what it comes down to, right? And again, that's a whole topic, and this video is already very long, but just and give another example. I'm like really trying to drive home this point. It's similar to a caregiver with a baby, right? Like the baby is crying and dysregulated and all that. And what does that baby really need in an ideal world? And sometimes as a parent, it's hard to do this. So I'm not trying to shame any of us who are parents or caregivers who who aren't always perfect, because we're not. Um, but really in an ideal world, that in order for that baby to regulate, it is ideally being held by a caregiver, or in the presence of a caregiver who is in a calm state, the baby can feel the breathing of the caregiver and can feel the heartbeat, the steady, regular heartbeat of the caregiver, etc. And so that's a lot of what I think I try to be on these videos and in a lot of my work is a presence of uh that we can all co-regulate together, in that, just like we co-regulate with the earth and we can co-regulate with the waves of the ocean, and we can co-regulate with the motion of the planets and the galaxies, literally, literally, literally. Like that's what you need and want from me, right? So again, it's not that I'm not upset about these things, it's not that I'm not affected, but I probably wouldn't be very helpful to you if I just went berserk and was totally out of whack with all of it. You probably want me to be regulated in my own being and my own nervous system and in my own body, which I am most of the time, which is good. I definitely feel better that way. Yeah. So again, we don't need to be perfect. We're human. But that's really the bottom line. That's I think what the spirit world is trying to say, is that, yeah, a lot of this sucks. And this is a time on earth that really kind of sucks. But we're here for a reason. We're here to, in each our own ways, be a presence of healing, be a presence of remembering, coming back into that wholeness that we are, so that we can then be at the starting place of, okay, we're now the butterfly. Great. We're ready to fly. Like what's next? I don't know. But first we need to embody ourselves fully as that butterfly, and the perfection and the beauty and the wholeness that is just inherently true. All right. So, yeah, I'm here to do that with you. I'm doing it with you. You're doing it with me. Yay. Thank you so much for being part of it. And if you haven't tapped into that Wholeness Way series, absolutely please do. Again, it's totally free. It's here on my YouTube channel. It'll be here forever and ever. Use it anytime. Yeah. And if it calls to you, come to the workshop with Melanie next Wednesday, July 17th. It'll be recorded and it'll be live and recorded, so you don't need to be there live. If you can't be, that's fine. You'll have it forever. What else? I feel like there are other things too. Anyway, I'm available actually in July. I have more time than usual for one-on-one sessions if you are wanting that. And starting in August, my schedule goes back to kind of more limited time, but especially in the next 2 weeks, the third and, well, yeah, so the starting in the last week of July and then the first half of August, I'm mostly taking that time off. And then the second half of August, I'm available again, but kind of more limited. So if you're wanting one-on-one sessions, right now is a really, really good time. Next week and the week after, I have way more opening than normal, just because my schedule is more free than usual, due to my kids' schedule. So yeah, it's a great time to do that. I would love to support you one-on-one if that's what you're wanting. And I feel like I don't, there's always if you would like to be part of a soul sharing circle, I do have 2 of those going, one on the last Tuesday of the month and one on the last Saturday of the month. And they're scheduled at different times to accommodate all parts of the world. So, if you would like to be part of a small sharing circle, I'll put the link. You can find out more information about that. That's available right now. More things, more things. I don't know, but yeah, lots of things to be involved in if and when you want. And I have so many exciting, fun conversations coming up with, various people I'm going to be interviewing or having chats with on videos, and really, really excited to share those with you. So stay tuned. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Next week I'm meeting with Kelly Hunter. I'm going to be meeting with Divine Harmony and Jude Currivan, and anyway, yeah. Next month, Keone, Stuart Pierce and I will probably do another video. Yeah. Anyway, if you have requests, if you have suggestions, I'm pretty booked for the next month or so with interviews, but I'm always definitely looking for wonderful people to connect with in those ways. And yeah, thank you for just so much for being involved with these videos and commenting and sharing your thoughts and feelings on it and your incredible wisdom. And I really, really love it. Really appreciate it. I love this community so much. I love how you're supporting each other. And yeah, again, this is not just about some wisdom coming through me. It's about us all co-remembering. So, okay. Yay. Thank you. I will see you soon.